Welcome, everyone, to Wrestling with the Odds here on FightfulOverbook.com. I'm Jeremy Lambert, and for this event, we have the great SP3 here. Jared Bailey is off in Indiana doing NFL draft combine stuff. He's probably thinking he's going to run into Tony Khan there, but Tony's in San Francisco this week. SP3, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. I'm glad to be here with you, Jeremy, and I'm on Fightful Overbooked and not talking about anything but wrestling. So this is a rarity. Usually when you hear me talking about wrestling on this channel, it's from 1996 and me trying to painstakingly go through Nitro and Raw, which I thought Nitro got good after the NWO. It doesn't. There's some rough episodes, but here we are talking about wrestling nowadays, so that's cool.
Nitro's very much like kind of like WWE is nowadays, like almost SmackDown is. You got a really good top story, and then there's some like kind of good, just but like meaningless undercard stuff. Yeah. Like that's sort of what it is, and that's how SmackDown is. It's like, hey, cool, Bloodline stuff rules. Everything else is kind of, oh yeah, good match, sure, banger, as kids like to say. But otherwise, like, where's the actual meat on this stuff? That's what Nitro is in 1996 with the NWO stuff.
And I get paid to cover that show and try and explain things to Dutch Mantel every Friday. That's like, it's rough with SmackDown, but so I understand what you're talking about.
How is Dutch doing? Is he doing?
He's doing well. I got to reunite us. That was like the first thing I ever did on Sportskeeda's channel was you and Dutch and me talking about. I think that was like the WrestleMania preview.
It was WrestleMania,
37. Yeah, 37. Yeah. Wow.
It was 2 years ago. Yeah, no, it's been a while. All right, everybody, we are here to look at the odds, the betting odds for AEW Revolution. It is kind of like FMC with Wrestling Talk. The wife has already put out there. She's like, you guys just need to talk about Perfect Match because we both watched it. You guys got to wait until next Tuesday to hear our takes on Perfect Match. All right, sorry, everybody. A great show.
If only they could see the DMs to that I said to you, and then the DMs me and Ashley were exchanging.
They're shoot names.
The wife.
Edit that out. It's live. We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. Oh, excuse me. See, Sid's always forget we're live.
That's right. Let's get into it. The odds are courtesy of BetOnline.ag. SP3, we started a couple of last month, I guess. February. With the NXT show. We started doing we made our bets, and then we lost all of Jimmy Van's fake money. We actually did win $20 because we bet on Gallus, and then I think Jarrett and I lost that at Elimination Chamber. I have to pull it up. We'll pull it up at the end of the show, but I'm pretty sure we lost that $20 at Elimination
Chamber. Should have had me on. I was perfect for Elimination Chamber.
Were you? Well, we had some like odd parlays. You'll see it when I pull it up. We had the parlays that we went with. But yeah, I think we got to go back to Money Man Jimmy and get a fake $100 from him and see if we can't make some money back. Let's get into AEW Revolution this Sunday, March 5th. In San Francisco. You know what? We're going to start with the TNT Championship match. Wardlow at plus 500 against Samoa Joe at minus 1,000. Big favorite on Samoa Joe, and I'm not sure he should be favored that much. What do you think, SP3?
I don't know if this like changed between yesterday and today, but I would have thought that Wardlow would be the favorite. I mean, he's fighting for his hair and for his dad. I mean, I would think that he would be the favorite here. This might be an opportunity though for people to make some money because I think that Wardlow should be the favorite. So the fact that he's not means that we can make some money here.
Wardlow was so hot when he won the title last time and then completely cooled off. He's acknowledged it. They've always acknowledged it. Joe already has the ROH TV title. So does he need the TNT title? We know Hobbs is the next opponent. Hobbs and Joe makes sense. Wardlow and Hobbs obviously makes a lot of sense. It feels like we're just going to the past here with these matches. You actually have me questioning. I'm re-looking at the odds. You have me questioning if like, did I write this wrong on Wardlow and oh, you know what? I actually did. So I did fuck this up. Wardlow is at minus 1,000. Samoa Joe is at plus 500. So I screwed that up. Let me remake this graphic here. All right. We're off to a
It's just
roaring start here.
you gotta go like move it over, drag it.
Yeah.
Drag
Why
one over
not?
the other, or if you could make one where it's a slash over it. Slashing prices here. We're slashing prices. We're going back on stuff. So okay, so if Joe
That
is
makes more sense.
yeah, that does make a lot more sense. But my whole thing is Tony Khan about to, wipe the slate clean with this king of television, which I think is a great gimmick. And I know Joe, he was great on commentary during the Face of the Revolution matchup, and it made you miss how great he was on commentary on Monday Night Raw during the pandemic. But are they gonna wipe the slate clean? Because I did read spoilers. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers for Ring of Honor, but I think Samoa Joe's challenger at Supercard of Honor is going to beat him. So are they just gonna wipe the slate clean and Joe loses this first title at Revolution, and then he loses at Supercard of Honor, and then he's no longer the king of television? He has no television titles. So I'm think that we should make some money here and go with Joe.
Okay, so when Wardlow's plus 500, that felt like a pretty easy bet. I think Wardlow is winning this. I wish I had those odds at plus 500 for Wardlow. We definitely would have made some money. See, here's why I can talk myself into Joe is he just won the title back. Why I don't like them hot-shotting the title so much. Like, it needs to be kind of at a stable spot. I like Joe with the King of Television gimmick as well. I agree with you that the person he's facing at the ROH show is probably going to beat him, even though I'm not even sure that person needs that win. Like, I think there's a story to be told of like he doesn't win that match, but I understand why they would go with him to defeat Joe. It seems like they're trying to just hard reset with Wardlow with all of this, and it feels like Wardlow is going to win. I feel confident enough to put like a little something on Joe just because the odds aren't bad, but Wardlow feels like an easy parlay with somebody else, and we'll get to the other odds later on. But Wardlow, it feels like he's going to win this and then move on and face Hobbs. And then honestly, I'd have Hobbs beat Wardlow, but I don't foresee that happening either.
Yeah, that's my whole thing too, is that I really want Hobbs to beat whoever comes out of this matchup. So that's why I can talk myself into Wardlow, I can talk myself into Joe. I will say this is one of the more unpredictable matches on this card where you could pretty much go either way.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Official prediction. No, take away the odds. Just official prediction for this match.
I'm gonna go with my gut. My gut feel like says Wardlow gets the win after that. That was probably his best promo, that sit down interview with Jim Ross about his father and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go with Wardlow. Official prediction.
I don't know how you have this man after you cut his hair, after he cuts that promo about his dad, and then you have him lose this match.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, they can. Well, we've seen it a lot of WWE. So it's not like they can't do this, but feels like this is something they should just go ahead with the Wardlow victory here. Moving on, our next bout that we're going to talk about, Ricky Starks at minus 300, Chris Jericho at plus 200. I'm double checking to make sure I have these correct this time. I do. These are the correct odds. SP3, what's your take on this match?
This is a close one. This is a very close betting odds in this one. I mean, I can realistically understand why, people would take the bet on Chris Jericho. When has Chris Jericho ever had a feud in AEW where he took back-to-back losses, except for maybe the MJF feud where he took consecutive losses before he won the blow-off of the feud. So it's Jericho wins and the story continues, or Ricky Starks win and we can move Ricky away from the Jericho verse. I'm going to go with my official prediction and the betting odds prediction here. I'm going to go with the odds and say Ricky wins.
I think there's money to be made on Chris Jericho. I really do. I've talked myself into Chris Jericho winning this match, and I like that he's plus 200. He's technically the underdog. Yeah. I know it. This graphic says everyone is banned from ringside. They've changed it to where it's just Jericho Appreciation Society. I think we're getting a new member of the Jericho Appreciation Society. I think someone joins the group and
Who do you
costs Ricky this
who do you
match.
put money on that person is?
People have kind of said like maybe Action and Andretti turns. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what they're going with Action and Andretti. So this was actually a Lamb's bit that I did, but it was a bit kind of teased in reality. I think someone like Lance Archer makes sense with the Jericho Appreciation Society. And I say that because like Hager's not there every week, doesn't wrestle a lot. Like if they could add like another big guy heater to this group who actually is present throughout, Jericho and Jake can work together a little bit too, like do some promos. I think Lance Archer is like my sort of prediction because they don't need another young talent. They got Garcia and Guevara. They got their two young guys like there who work together and are fine. You don't need to add like another young guy because Garcia is already kind of lost in that stuff. I feel he's very lost after the Bryan stuff. And Sammy's always in like a prominent position, but he's at where he's at. They got their tag team. I know 2.0 isn't treated like a big deal or anything, but they kind of got their tag team. And again, Hager is their heater, but he's just not present all the time. I think Archer can be a present heater for them. So that's why I went kind of Lance Archer.
I'm going with Paul White to be the heater because Jericho just got the trademark for Jericho. So I think Paul White knocks out Ricky Starks. And if we want to put our money on Chris Jericho here, I think that's the best bet that Paul White becomes a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society.
I hope Ricky wins. I'm pulling for Ricky. It makes more sense for Ricky to win, but they love Chris Jericho, man.
They do.
They love Chris Jericho, and I'm sure this feud will continue because of it, and for some reason, because they love doing that shit too.
I swear, there's probably like an inside bet that we don't know about between Chris Jericho and Edge, or interpromotional rivalry of whose feuds can last the longest.
Oh, Edge has got a beat by people think this Ricky Starks feud has lasted a while. Like they had their first match January 4th. Like the first like promo stuff was in like December. So it hasn't been super, super long.
Even the Jericho Appreciation Society Blackpool Combat Club feud lasted less. It didn't even last longer than this Edge and Judgment Day feud.
Oh, that feud sucks. They need to just move away from that as quick as possible. I feel bad for Finn Balor. All right, so your official prediction is Ricky Starks, all odds aside, and mine is Chris Jericho, all odds aside. I think Jericho, even with I like him as a bet, and I like him even more as a bet because I'm actually very sold he's going to win on this match. Let's move on. The next matchup, the Texas Death Match between Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. Hangman at a -700 favorite, and Jon Moxley at a +400 underdog. Who are you thinking in this match, SP3?
My mind has always been that Hangman Adam Page needs to win this one. But my God, did Jon Moxley add to his greatest promos of all time list with that bloody face, closed eye promo, blood dripping on the stairs promo that he did on AEW Dynamite. That was incredible. And that sold me on if I want to make some money here, I'll put a little money down on Moxley. I might split my bets here and put a little money down on Moxley, put a little more on Hangman here because it does make sense. This is the fourth match. They're now currently 2-1. But this is really like the rubber match because the first match ended prematurely. So they're really 1-1 here. But I think that Hangman needs the victory more. But like I said, that Moxley promo makes me want to put at least a little money down on him just in case.
I think Hangman is going to win, and I think that Moxley will finally get his friggin' vacation out of this.
No. He ain't never taken a vacation. No, he is never.
I'm not saying it's gonna be a long vacation, but give the man just a couple weeks off.
Nope, his wife now works with the company. He was like that whole vacation talk was when his wife wasn't working here, and now he's like, no, I'm not taking any vacation.
I think Hangman is winning. I think he needs it a little bit more than Moxley. They always protect Moxley. This is another way to protect him without like taking a pinfall loss. Instead, it's somehow more acceptable to be incapacitated for 10 seconds than to be incapacitated for 3 seconds.
Sure.
I don't know why that is. Like you got the shit kicked out of you more. You were down longer for 10 seconds than you were for 3 seconds. But for some reason, it's like, oh, this protects Moxley. Like, I guess. I think Hangman wins this, though. We've seen Moxley lose a Texas Death Match too. He lost one to Lance Archer. Like he can lose.
He did.
He can lose one to Hangman at a Page. So.
This is true. And if you're going by, he beat him in a Texas Death Match. Archer beat him for the IWGP US title, and then Hangman beat Archer in a Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. So Hangman should beat by the
MMA math.
Yeah, intimate math. That equation says that Hangman should win here. Yeah, like I said, I think Hangman, all odds aside, I think Hangman should win this matchup because he's the type of guy I would like to see go up against MJF and get reheated up after they cooled him down after his world title reign.
Yeah, I think so too. Hangman makes a lot of sense for the next challenger. Unfortunately, MJF is probably going to win. We'll talk about that here in a second. But he makes a lot of sense for the next challenger, and he can't be the next challenger if he loses this match. Or I guess he can. Adam Cole was the challenger for Hangman after he lost the lights out match to Orange Cassidy. So who cares? Because it wasn't an official loss. Make up the rules as they go.
Hey, same thing with Dr. Britt Baker. Britt Baker got a shot at the women's title after she lost to Thunder Rosa.
Right. Like, whatever. It wasn't official. It was lights out. It doesn't count on the record. He's not getting pinned. He's not actually getting pinned. He just got beat up, so he's down for 10 seconds. It happens.
There you go. Makes sense.
Speaking of the women's title, the AEW Women's Championship, Jamie Hayter, big favorite at minus 1250. Ruby Soho at plus 400. Saraya at plus 500. Definitely feels like it's Jamie Hayter's match to lose, and it feels like it's probably too early to take that belt off of Jamie.
Yeah, if people think it's too early for MJF to lose the title, then it's definitely too early for Jamie Hayter, who has really knocked it out of the park so far in her AEW Women's World Championship reign. I love the matchup where she won the title against Toni Storm at Full Gear. I loved even more her match with Hikaru Shida at the Holiday Bash in December. I loved her match with Emi Sakura on Rampage, and I think that this match is going to overachieve as well. I know there's been a lot of heat on Saraya, and I have not been too high on her matches since her return, but I think this is going to be probably her best chance to have a good to great matchup here. Ruby Soho has been on fire with a winning streak since her return, and I think she's gonna, her and Jamie Hayter will have good chemistry with one another. But definitely, I mean, we're probably not going to make too much money on here, but we could make a parlay maybe with this and the Wardlow bet for Jamie Hayter.
I think Jamie Hayter is going to win. I think she should win. I'm with you. Saraya's return been very lukewarm on that. Not only just like the match quality, but just the stuff she's doing with the NWO light with Toni Storm. I think Jamie and Ruby should take the bulk of this match. I wouldn't mind a Ruby Soho victory in that she's on the split side right now, right? You got the Outcast against the Originals, or the Outsiders against the Originals. Ruby's kind of in the middle. She only cares about the title. I could see her just like getting a victory in that, like, Jamie and Saraya are so worried about each other and so worried about their Outsiders versus Originals feud that Ruby's just like, all I give a shit about is this title. So I'm just going to take this and y'all do y'all's thing. Now I'm the champion. So I could see Ruby potentially winning in that kind of way.
I could definitely see that. I see that as a reasonable option to do, and I agree with you with the whole Saraya and Toni Storm. Like they wanted to come across like NWO, but it's coming off like a blend of NWO meets the Bella Twins. and like they really haven't found the in between where they need to be, but it very much just comes off like a light version of NWO meets Bella Twins, and it's not coming off the best. And I was very high on the idea of the storyline, especially with the promo that Saraya did where she kind of like rejected Hikaru Shida and picked Tony Storm over her. I was high on this on the rivalry then, but since then it just hasn't really it just hasn't connected too much. But Jamie Hayter, like I said, is cooking as AEW Women's World Champion. I think you keep the title on her.
Yeah, I think Jamie should win this match. But if you are looking for to throw a small little something to, get some value, since Hater is such a big favorite, Ruby Soho would be my pick there.
Yeah.
The Trios Championships, pretty close odds on this one. The Elite at -210, House of Black at +160. What are you thinking for this one, SP3?
This is like probably out of all the buildups for Revolution, this is the one I'm most disappointed in. Because I literally called this being the match for Revolution. Like after like game 5 of the best of 7 series, I was like, I think that was around the time where House of Black made their return. And I was like, okay, you do House of Black versus the winners of this best of 7 tournament. Like you have the Elite win the 7th game, and then House of Black immediately attacks them afterwards. And I was just looking at my clock since January 11th, like, when are they going to get this started? Because, like, I know this is probably the direction they're going. And then they decided to do all the build-up mostly on Rampage or mostly, like, little flickers during Elite promos. And, yeah, and then we had the segment, on Dynamite last night, which would have been great, like, 3 weeks ago. But on the go-home show, it just felt like, So I'm hoping that this is the start of a rivalry here. So I'll take the Elite, even though they are the favorite. But I think this is one where we could split our bet and put some money on House of Black, because a win for them would really create more interest in their whole buildup. But like I said, I'm hoping that this is the start of a rivalry, and then eventually House of Black could win, but not here.
I got not much use for House of Black, if I'm being honest. Love them as wrestlers, all great wrestlers. The stuff they do, their vignettes, it's not for me. And this feud, I said it on the spotlight today, it's going to be a great match. Like the last time I have a memory of House of Black was them losing to Sting, Darby, and Miro, who are nowhere to be found on this card. I understand they won some matches on Dark. I understand they beat the Factory and stuff. I can't recall them winning any other important matches. They certainly haven't beaten like a top trios team. It's just, hey, we're just going after these titles now. The lights off, attack, lights on, their lore promos of talking in riddles, Malachi's eye that's gone like nowhere, just like none of it is for me. Absolutely none of it is for me. It's gonna be a great match. Please, please, please. I can't just preface that enough. The match is gonna be great. I'm gonna, after the end of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was 4.5 stars, whatever. But like the feud hasn't been there for me. The story hasn't been there for me. It's just, okay, cool. We're going to have a great match. In today's professional wrestling, you can see a great match literally every single day that you want to watch wrestling, because there's just great match after great matches. I understand there's levels higher than others, but yeah, House of Black stuff, not for me. Going to be a great match. I think the Elite, I think it's too early to take the titles off of them, but I could see House of Black winning, and then Jensen said it on our show today, is like, where do they go if they don't win this match? It feels like they kind of need the titles right now, because otherwise they're just, okay, they're another trios team that just does lore stuff, and like, that's not super appealing. They said that if they have the titles, they're in the mix somewhere, and they have a reason for almost existing out there. Because I do worry about them if they lose this match. Like, I don't know where they go if they lose this match, unless they do a rematch. But there's other trios they could feud with. They've done like the Death Triangle stuff. Like, I just don't know where they go if they end up losing this match.
Yeah, I could see the Elite kind of squeaking by, and then maybe even House of Black attacking them after the match to keep the feud going. Because it is kind of a damn shame if we get Elite versus House of Black and we never get Kenny Omega versus Australian Kenny Omega. Like we at least
Better
like
Omega. That's what they call him. Better
no,
Omega.
Australian Omega. He just spams all of Omega and Ibushi's moves. He's the Australian Golden Lover. Like it would be a shame if we never got that. I would love to see even a singles match with Nick Jackson versus Malachi. Give me that. Give me that. If you're gonna give me an Elite and House of Black, and this is the shortest turnaround that we have to another pay-per-view, because after Revolution, well, besides Double or Nothing 2 Forbidden Door, but usually the shortest turnaround between pay-per-views is Revolution to Double or Nothing. So I could see them maybe have a fill-in trio in between, and then having a rematch between these two teams. The Elite love their stipulations, having a false count anywhere, or Anarchy in the Arena with these two teams at Double or Nothing. Anarchy in the Arena too. Oh, I've already booked it. There you go. There you go,
No,
Tony. I already
no,
booked it for you. Give me Anarchy
no.
in the Arena with the Elite and House of Black at Double or Nothing, and that's where House of Black win the trios titles. But I want this to be the start of the feud, not the whole like end of it. So I think the Elite need to win for now, but I like the House of Black. I like the parts. I think they've always delivered when it came to their trios matches. But yeah, I do agree that the promos, it can wear a little bit thin. But I like Malachi as a leader of a group. I think they should do more with them, because they came back and it looked like they were already, had their sights set on the Elite, but it was way too vague. And then we didn't get anything. Then they wasted their time with Eddie and Ortiz. They honey dicked or Eddie Kingston, made Eddie believe that he had a house with the House of Black. And then they said, no, we just wanted to prove that people are evil. That was great. That was great for me. But I want more of this between these two teams. So I already made the booking for you, Tony. You can thank me on the media call today that House of Black, Elite 2, Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. But Elite wins.
House of Black doesn't feel like an Anarchy in the Arena team at all. Like, they just turn the light. Why wouldn't they just turn the lights down for the whole thing? And then they just,
because they're not backstage. Win. They got to come out. They have to come out.
Julia can stay backstage.
No, Julia has to come out because she's got to be the buffer for Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa. She's got to deal with all of them.
She can control the lights.
She's going to
just beat them up in the dark.
She's going to poison Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa with her mist, so she has to be the facilitator for that on the outside. She can't allow Brandon Cutler to just film stuff for BTE. She has to take over because she was a great camera woman that one time when they beat up Brandon Cutler.
No, she can just stay backstage, turn the lights down, her guys win, and then they win. I don't like Anarchy in the Arena for these two. I don't like it.
Yes. Give me that. Give me that. No. Give me that.
Dude, they can do cinematic stuff where they're spitting blood. And
Stadium Stampede between these two teams? Absolutely. Can sign me up for that too.
Don't like it. I think the Elite win this match. There's good value on House of Black though, because it feels like they need it more than the Elite. I will go with the Elite though.
I do agree with that.
You know what one of these teams could do if they lose, and that's go to the tag team division. Sorry, we don't have the
does the tag team division need it?
Updated graphic here. There wasn't a clean graphic with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, but those odds are for Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. I can confirm that. So it's not for just unknown team is at plus 800. So Orange Cassidy and Danhausen are at plus 800. The Acclaimed at plus 250. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal at plus 450. And then the Guns, still the betting favorite at minus 250 SP3.
Oh, man. What happened to the tag team division? What happened to the? Do you realize the history of the tag team division at Revolution? Like at Revolution 3 years ago, we had the greatest tag team match of all time, in my opinion, of the Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. The year after, we had a hell of a match. Arguably the best match on the 2021 card was Young Bucks versus MJF and Chris Jericho. Last year, we had a great three-way match with Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. So what I'm trying to say is that should have probably put the Young Bucks in this match because they are usually the reason why Revolution has great tag team matches for the AEW World Tag Team titles. I mean, I only care about one of these teams, which is the Acclaimed. I feel bad that Tony decided to go for heat with the Guns, beating them a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like the quality of AEW television has fallen off since the Guns won the AEW World Tag Team titles. But unfortunately, I think they're going to win here, betting odds aside. But if we want to make some money, I would put that money on the Acclaim.
I hope Tony just writes this wrong immediately and is like, all right, you know what? Guns ain't working. Let's just go right back to the Acclaim. But because the Acclaim don't have to be involved in the pinfall, I think we are actually getting a rematch between the Guns and the Acclaimed. I don't know why the Acclaim didn't just use their rematch on a 2-on-2 instead of like, yeah, we want into this 4-way match.
I was like, what a dumb babyface decision that was.
Yeah. Very stupid. But I think the Guns might end up pinning like Danhausen. Like that's legitimately what I see here is like the Guns pin Danhausen, and that's how they win. The Acclaim, good money on them. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I'm not mad if you bet some money on them because Tony Khan loves him some Jay Lethal, man. Just absolutely loves him some Jay Lethal. And plus 450, Jeff Jarrett is like, hey, here you go, almost a lifetime achievement tag team award, tag team title award here. I could see it. I could really see Jarrett and Lethal winning this match.
My whole thing is if you were really wanted to take the titles off of the Acclaimed, man, you would have got nuclear heat. Did you remember the heat that Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal got when they did the Dusty finish in Seattle?
Yeah.
That's the type of reaction you want for the Acclaim losing the titles. If you were going to take the titles off the Acclaim, it should have been Triple J, or as I like to call them, Team TNA, that beat them for the titles because they would have got the heat for it. It just, it's baffling that they didn't make that decision and they decided to go with the Guns here. I would only think the Guns have these titles because Tony has some type of agreement laid out with FTR, because it seems like that's the only reason to have the Guns with these titles is to pay off the whole FTR feud and have them come back and beat them for it. So maybe it's not at this pay-per-view. Maybe it's, on an episode of Dynamite, maybe the Dynamite following Revolution. I know there was a report today from Worked Wrestling, which isn't, I take everything with a grain of salt until they build up a reputation, but they did get the whole Trish Stratus thing right. So I'll give them a little bit of, mention them here that FTR may come back, beat the Guns for the titles. So that's my hope. But I think that it's either going to be the Guns or the Acclaimed here. I love Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, and I think that they are actually going to make this a fun matchup because Orange Cassidy it's been like the low-key workhorse MVP for AEW over the last couple of weeks, and you had to get him on the card in some way. I much rather had it been because they were already feuding with Team TNA. You should have gave me Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett for the All Atlantic title. I think we would all be we would enjoy that so much, and we wouldn't be able to admit it on any social media, but we would enjoy that. Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship. Imagine Orange giving him the lazy kicks and Jarrett tries to hit him with the guitar. It's just great stuff all around. That would have been great. But I think that they're going to probably be the MVPs of this match, honestly, Orangehausen. But like I said, all betting odds aside, I got the Guns in this one. But like I said, if you do want to think about the bets and the numbers here, the Acclaim seems like the safest out of the challengers.
What if they put the belts on Orange Cassidy and Danhausen?
I would not mind. I'm being honest here. They are merch movers. They are ratings draws. It's not a mistake that Tony Khan keeps opening the show of Dynamite. Like whenever I hear the Dynamite thing, I automatically think of Jane now because that has become his thing to do. Is Dynamite theme, Justin Roberts in the ring, and then we hear Jane. That seems to be a theme as of late, and I would not mind it at all if he was the double champion here.
2 belts, freshly squeezed. Like people would hate it because people just don't like Danhausen. And he's a comedy type wrestler, so I kind of get that. But whatever. The Orange Cassidy rules. It's better than the Guns. I agree with you that it feels like the Guns are just holding those titles until FTR comes back. And maybe they beat FTR. Maybe FTR comes back so they can job out and say goodbye and they head elsewhere. Maybe that's what it is. But it does feel like they are holding those titles until FTR comes back in some capacity.
I think any WWE fan that is holding out hope for a revival return needs to, send hate mail to WrestleVotes for that tweet yesterday saying that Vince McMahon made a match for WrestleMania, because from everything Dax has said, any type of hint of Vince being around or having any type of control of creative is going to make him think twice about making that move.
I'm with you. I think they're sticking with AEW, by the way. I have no insight as to what is happening. People thought they were going to come back last night in the Battle Royal,
yeah.
And they were very disappointed when I guess the Butcher and the Blade were like technically the last team to enter that thing.
Make any sense. And I thought like the promo that was a couple weeks ago on Rampage following Darby losing the TNT title was teasing that Sting and Darby, who are undefeated as a tag team, that would have made more sense as the Jokers here.
Oh, but I've said for a while now that Sting and Darby should win these titles. I've been on that train that Sting and Darby should win these titles at some point. They should beat the Guns. I don't care how you get it done, but they should win these titles.
Yeah, if you don't have FTR come back, then I'd totally be down for Sting and Darby getting a run for the tag team title, because they've been undefeated for 2 years. 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years they've been a tag team, and they've never been beaten, but never got a shot at the AEW World Tag Team titles.
Wins and losses don't matter, no matter what they try to tell you. They really don't matter. Our main events of the evening, these odds are very disappointing. MJF minus 5,000, Bryan Danielson plus 900 in the AEW World Title 60-minute Iron Man match. MJF is going to win this match. Okay, he is. I've accepted that. Everyone else should accept that. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Just like I didn't like Roman Reigns winning against Sami Zayn. I understand that the odds were in Reigns' favor. I understand the story. I don't care. Quit being cowards with your booking, everybody. Put the belt on the people who actually deserve it, and Bryan Danielson deserves it.
I mean, after that promo last night, that promo got me fired up. It had me being Jeremy Lambert on Twitter and being like, Bryan Danielson is the GOAT. Debate with yourself. I made that tweet because I was just like, oh my God, he said the line. He said the line. For Bryan Danielson marks, because I am a Bryan Danielson mark. I'll never be ashamed to say that, because I sat in the Hammerstein ballroom with a couple of hundred of New Yorkers seeing this man back in like 06, 07, and right there and there, I was like, man, wrestling gave birth to this child, and this child grew up to become the American Dragon. He is professional wrestling, and he's always been good on the mic. That's why I never understood the Bryan Danielson can't cut a promo, because I'm about to tweet it out later today. I don't know if you ever heard it, Jeremy, but back in 06, when he was injured before his match with Kenta at Glory by Honor 06, one of the greatest promos I ever heard is pain is temporary, but pride is forever. That promo that he cut in Ring of Honor back in 06, that's what I was like, oh, this man could cut great promos too? He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I'm convinced. So I wouldn't mind. This is one where I'm going against my better judgment, and I'm saying we put it all on Bryan Danielson and cash out.
I mean, look, I think we should put it on Bryan Danielson because we're going to lose all our money if that's what we end up doing because MJF is going to win this match. He should win, though. I'm with you. Everything, like I've said it a million. Every time Bryan Danielson comes to the ring, I tweet, imagine thinking Bryan Danielson ain't the fucking GOAT. He's the best in-ring wrestler. Anybody, who said, oh, this man can't cut a promo, has never actually listened to him cut a promo because there's many flavors of promos, right? There's the MJF flavors, like, oh, this guy's great because he yells and has the inflection and he gets people mad with the low-hanging fruit and stuff. And look, MJF's a good promo. I find some of his stuff very hit and miss, though. Bryan Danielson just cuts real promos, and that's what he's always been able to do. But his wrestling was so good that he just never got the credit he deserved as a promo in Ring of Honor. And look, he had to stand up next to like the CM Punks in Ring of Honor, and he's a better promo than Bryan Danielson. That's just kind of I don't think that's a hot take to say that CM Punk is the better promo than Bryan Danielson. This does not mean Bryan Danielson is a bad promo. He's been cutting great promos for his entire career, and his promo last night was fantastic. I wish the crowd was not as pro MJF as they were, because had they been just hotter for Danielson, like that promo would have just destroyed that. I said it. I thought his promo, the material overall, was better than Punk's promo leading into All Out. Punk just happened to be in Chicago where they were going to cheer no matter what he said. Like that crowd was, they were just pro MJF, and MJF is, he's a little divisive with his reactions. Some crowds are just going to completely hate him. And other crowds are going to be a little bit more mixed. And that crowd in California, they were a little bit more mixed, and they were just a little bit more on MJF's side. But that takes nothing away. And you know what? Maybe that does take away from Danielson's promo of like, well, he couldn't. Why isn't the crowd on his side when he's supposed to be the babyface going into this match? I think that's sort of, take a look at the booking of this match then and how they've told this story. If you can't fully turn the crowd into a heel to heel on MJF, I think that's an issue overall with some of this stuff. Bryan Danielson should win. MJF is going to win.
And they reacted big to him saying the line. So
he did. That got a big reaction.
Yeah, that got a big reaction because even with the faulty mixing to try to avoid getting that on air, they were loud as hell, and you saw them get up off their feet when he said the line. So I agree with you that they could have been more into it, but I would say out of all the buildups for Revolution, this has definitely been the best. This has had a beginning, a middle, and an end, which I can't say for a lot of these feuds on this show that has had happen, a coherent. I think the only one close is the Texas Death Match, but then that was kind of confusing because Hangman said he was mad at Moxley because he forgot his kid. Then he said he wasn't mad because he felt like Moxley insulted him.
Then Moxley, that man can't remember what he said.
Then Moxley didn't want to fight him, even though he's an animal, and my Hangman has to fight him. And it was all, that was very confusing too. But this has been a very coherent, put together storyline. And regardless of what you think about MJF 9 times out of 10 for I think like most AEW pay-per-views in the past 2-3 years, he's had the best build-up for most of those pay-per-views. Whether you go back to Double or Nothing last year with him and Wardlow, whether you go back to Punk and him last year at Revolution, him and Darby had a great build-up to their matchup back at Full Gear in 2021, and even the Chris Jericho that went on a little too long, but that was still a good build up until their blow off match. So I think that MJF has his fingerprint on why he always has the best build up for these shows, and this is definitely the best build up of any matchup on the card. But I think you're right. MJF, all betting odds aside, I think MJF is going to win, but I don't bet sometimes with my head. Sometimes I bet with my heart. I'm all about chasing dreams, and my dream right now is for Bryan Danielson, the GOAT, to be the AEW World Champion.
Well, betting with our heart instead of our heads is why we have $0 left. As I
made you 20. I made you 20 with Ben.
We won 20. You see what Jared Bailey and I did. We tried to parlay Asuka and Austin Theory. That worked. But then we threw in Brock Lesnar and he loses by DQ. And then we tried to almost mitigate that of like, oh, let's go Bobby Lashley. I was high on Balor and Rhea winning. That was completely.
I could have told you that. I could have told you that.
I mean, look, Jarrett was 100% in on Edge and Beth Phoenix, and I got the reasoning why. I'll be honest with you, SP3. I was trying to think that Triple H actually was trying to make sense of things like, hey, maybe Rhea Ripley should get a big win before her WrestleMania match, and she could beat Beth Phoenix and go on and use that going on to WrestleMania. But no, of course not. He does the easy trope of, oh, Edge and Beth win, and now we'll just continue this feud more on. And I got screwed over by Brock Lesnar just going into business for himself and be like, this Uncle Howdy shit don't work for me, brother. Because otherwise we would have had Asuka, Austin Theory, Brock Lesnar win. That would have hit. But Brock was like, nah, I ain't doing that goofy shit.
I want to thank two people right now. First, I want to thank your colleague Sean Ross Sapp for that report from Fightful Selects, because I literally said the day after Elimination Chamber on the True Hill He Elimination Chamber review, I literally was just making the joke, but it found out being correct that Brock Lesnar found out that the winner of his matchup with Bobby Lashley was going to face Bray Wyatt, so he decided to kick him in the dick and just call it a day. Call it a day. You can have the win, but I'm still going to beat the crap out of you after the match. So he kicked him in the dick, said, no, I'm not dealing with the fun out stuff. I'm good with that. And I also want to thank Vince McMahon for making Brock Lesnar versus Omos, because I so much enjoyed tweeting about, you call him Triple H, I call him Flawed Paul, and all the booking mistakes he has made, despite people telling me, oh, he's this great savior, oh, he cares about women's wrestling, and now both women's matches for WrestleMania have had absolutely no build-up, paper-thin stories, and Damage L. I don't even call them Control anymore, just call them Damage L. I feel so vindicated this week, from the Fightful report to Flawed Paul's booking. I feel so good about that. But I am not saying, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to make this clear, I'm not saying that Tony Khan is a very good booker himself, because like I said, ever since the Guns won the AEW was riding high. We went like 7 weeks of great programming, great wrestling matches, and ever since the Guns beat the Acclaim, it's been like this. We got picked up a little bit, but even yesterday was so topsy-turvy. I had stuff I loved on that show last night, like the Moxley promo, Bryan Danielson promo, Christian's promo. Oh, we didn't even get that. Christian, I don't know if that's official yet, but Christian.
I don't think that's official. I haven't seen like a graphic or anything for that. I don't think that's they already got enough matches for this show, and one match is going to be an hour long. Like, I don't know how they're gonna. I know they're going to add stuff to the pre-show, I would imagine, but I don't know if that's officially official. It's not official as of right now. There's been no graphic. I'm sure Tony Khan in 3 hours will be like, yes, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage is official.
You know there's going to be a question, and then you'll see the social media post of, yes, Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, or it's official. It's a graveyard fight. It's a great.
It's not even going to be a question. Tony's just going to run down the entire card and be like, we had a tremendous lineup. This is the best AEW Revolution we've ever had. It's going to be topped by MJF, who's been a great world champion for us, against Bryan Danielson, who many people consider to be the best wrestler in the world. It's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match. You're guaranteed 60 minutes of action in this match. MJF, he's not always pleasant to work with, but he's a great wrestler. Bryan Danielson, the greatest wrestler in the world. This is going to be a great main event. We've had a tremendous build for this main event that started, this build for this started after MJF won the title, and he despicably turned on William Regal when William Regal helped him. William Regal, the mentor of Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson is not happy about this, and then he's going to recap all of the stuff that's happened in between all of this.
No, I'm laughing because you're so right. You're so right. You know that
every single time with him.
That is verbatim. That is verbatim what he's going to say. I could see Hook versus Stokely getting added to the buy-in.
Yeah, that's like a buy-in shot.
I can also there was one other match that I think they've been building to that they'll probably add to like the buy-in and whatnot. But yeah, that's the one match I think I know for sure that they might add to the buy-in is Hook versus Stokely. So or Britt Baker versus Tony Storm, because that they kind of were building that on Dynamite as well.
it does feel they need another women's match here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it does feel like we need another women's match. I mean, they have Swerve and Parker against Keith Lee and Dustin on Rampage. I could see Swerve and Keith on the buy-in, but that feels like it deserves a bigger spot than the buy-in.
I agree. I think they're gonna go a little bit longer. Maybe we have like the Mogul affiliates take out Dustin tonight, and then we'll have the return of Tattoo Face Trench, and then we can have Keith try to go through Mogul affiliates before he versus Swerve 1-on-1 at Double or Nothing.
People are saying a Jade match, Jade against Riho. I mean,
I wouldn't mind that after that win for Rio.
I love Rio.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I'm all about Rio getting title shots and everything. My issue with Jade is the same issue I've had for the longest time. Is like I need like an actual story with her and not just, hey, here's the challenger of the week that she's gonna beat. But her and Riho would be a lot of fun. Riho, she's small. Jade can base really well for her and everything like that. That'd be a really fun match. I'd actually really love to see that match.
The best part of Jade matches is how she gets into Jaded now, and with Rio, that would be very interesting. How she would do that, just throw her up in the air, flip her into a power bomb into the Jaded.
All right, let's make some bets here. We've gone back to Jimmy Moneybags to get some more money for him. We got $100 back. Who are we betting on here, SP3? What are we thinking as our big bets here? There's some heavy favorites, and then I feel like we got some decent parlay plays if we want to do that.
Okay, so if we're doing the heavy favorites, I think we do a parlay of MJF, Wardlow, and Jamie Hayter.
Okay, so Jamie Hayter is at minus 1250. Hold on, let me pull up here. Okay, minus 1250. MJF was at
minus 5,000.
Jeez, I don't know if we're gonna get good odds on this, honestly. Minus 5,000, and Wardlow was minus 1,000. I still feel like we might be at like losing odds on this. Yeah, this no, that's not worth it because that's still minus 472. Like that's
oh my god.
Yeah, we got to bet $100 just to win $21. That ain't worth it. What are you doing that bet?
All right, then let's put our money on Joe. Come on, Joe can't lose all his titles.
If we throw Hangman in that parlay, what if we throw Hangman in that parlay? Hangman's at minus 700. Let's see. Nah, that's still minus 260. We're not at plus value yet. I don't like that. All right. We're just going to bet straight up on Joe?
Yeah. I think we bet straight up on Joe.
All right. Joe's at plus 500. Okay. Do you want to do straight up? How much are we betting on Joe?
Let's put how much would 20 get us?
$20 on a Samoa Joe bet would be 120 or 100. Be 100.
Let's do it.
Bet $20 on Joe. Okay. All right, so Samoa Joe plus 500. Betting. We're betting $20.
Yep. Samoa Joe. Every time I hear Samoa Joe's voice, I hear Scott Steiner screaming it. Samoa Joe.
To win 100, our payout is 120. All right.
Good money there.
Okay, here's a parlay. Here's a parlay for you. I'm sold on Chris Jericho. But let's boost it. Let's do a Jericho and MJF odds are really bad at minus 5,000. Like it boosts the Jericho odds a little bit, and that's the only reason. What about a Jericho and Guns parlay?
I actually like that.
Guns are at minus 250. Jericho is at plus 200.
Actually like that. Let's do it.
Okay, so the odds on that are plus 320. So if we bet, do we want to throw in MJF? I mean, it'll boost it a little bit. But
yeah, why not?
That
really helps us. No.
It's boosted a little bit, but I mean, I'm pretty confident MJF is going to win. Let's just go Jericho and Guns. Jericho and Guns. $20 wins us 64.
That's good.
All right. So Jericho and Guns. Chris Jericho.
You got me really thinking that Tall Paul is going to interfere now. So
Guns. I'm
hoping.
sold on Jericho. I really am. Like
you might have changed my prediction for when I do my preview on True Hill Heat now. Like
and it just feels like Jericho is going to win this thing. And, it's going to be interference. So it's like, Ricky doesn't lose anything because Ricky still beat him one-on-one and it's fine.
Get so much heat on social media.
Jericho, he does that shit, though. He does that shit. Like,
he should have never beat Dragon at All Out last year.
Yeah, like he's good at doing that stuff. I got to give him credit, honestly. All right, the payout's 84. Oh, nice. So we still have $60 left over. Do we throw it all? We got the elite. What are we thinking? What if we do like elite Hangman, or you want to lean towards House of Black?
Let's go. Let's put the elite.
There's good odds with elite and House of Black.
Let's reunite the real elite and do an elite and Hangman parlay.
Okay, so minus 210 for the elite. There's good odds with elite and House of Black. I actually like betting on House of Black. Like if we were doing like real money type of thing, I could see myself betting like $20 on just House of Black straight up because there's good value at plus 160. Parlay it with like Hater, or even parlay it with Hangman or the Guns or something to boost it a little bit. But I like House of Black winning this. Okay. All right, Hangman at minus 700, and then the elite at minus. What do we get? We're still at negative odds on that.
Damn it.
What if we do House of Black and Hangman? You're sold on I feel like you're pretty sold on House of Black winning.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it because it does help them. I just really wanted to put the elite and Hangman back together. I wanted to reunite the family. It's a sweet family they got over there. What if we threw in Ruby Soho? Would that?
Who do you want to do?
We threw in Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho with the elite. Oh yeah, Ruby Soho's plus 400. She's the underdog.
Yeah.
That's a big swing right there. So we're going elite and then Ruby.
Yeah. All
right. So minus 210 for the elite, minus 700 for Hangman, and plus 400 for Ruby. So betting 20 wins 148.
The elite Ruby Soho. See it kind of comes together. Just repeating words.
Let's bet 10. 10 wins 74. Okay.
Okay.
Because this will leave us with 50, and I'll tell you what we're going to do with our final $50. And you might already know what we're going to do with our final $50. So Ruby Soho, elite, Hangman Page. All right, we're betting 10 to win 74.35. 74.35, and then the payout is 84.35. Okay. All right. Here's what we're doing with our final $50. SP3. If we lose it all, we go back to Jimmy Moneybags, and we'll just get another $100 from him. He's probably going to be wondering, like, why are you throwing away my $100? And we're going to be like, don't worry, one of these is going to hit, Jimmy. It's okay.
One of these.
Yeah. The cold streaks, you got to ride out the cold streaks until you get hot a little bit. That's how it goes. $50 left. 100, all 50 on it. Plus 900. American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Let's go.
I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We're going. All right. So $50 on a plus 900 Bryan Danielson. That is to win 450, everybody. So Bryan Danielson, we're betting 50, win, can't type as usual, 450, and the payout is going to be 500. Don't let us down, Tony Khan. Don't be a coward, Tony Khan.
Exactly.
Make the right call. Put the belt on the best wrestler of all time.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, ladies and gentlemen.
That's our betting list there. SP3. We'll see if we win any money. I feel like we got some decent bets there. Would I bet real money on some of this stuff? Maybe not all of it, but
yeah, probably not.
we're having fun. We're having fun out here. We're having fun. All right.
Hey, we had to make some money here. This I think that we both agree that probably Wardlow beating Joe is the correct decision, but I'm a big Samoa Joe fan, and I really don't want to see the king of television reign to end, and I'm more confident on his ROH challenger beating him for that TV title that he's had longer. He didn't have any, breaks in between with the ROH TV title. He's had it since last April. Like, damn. So he's due to lose that one. Let him keep the TNT title, and you can have Powerhouse Hobbs interfere and cost Wardlow.
You could do that, but then Hobbs has got to face Joe, and it feels like Wardlow's gonna win, and then he's gonna face Hobbs, and then Hobbs should honestly win that. But we'll see where they end up going. What if they do a DQ? They should do a DQ. Joe wins, and then they do a triple threat match.
The triple threat rematch, because
run back the triple threat match. Yeah, just throwing it out there, everybody. Just throwing it out there,
so we can make some money, please. That's our big bet here. That's the one that's going to get us 120.
That is a big bet right there.
We can lose all the other bets, and then if we make that one, we're good.
Yeah,
we're up $20.
Or just have Bryan Danielson win, and that'd be even better for everybody.
This is also true.
SP3. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be going live in about 40 minutes with AE Ramble over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Myself and Jimmy Macaram breaking down last night's AEW Dynamite as only we can. Jimmy seems like he didn't like last night's Dynamite because he named this week's show "When is the pay-per-view edition of Dynamite?" So look forward to a lot of disclaimers on this show.
That rules. Everyone go follow SP3 at True Heel SP3. Go check out the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. They're doing great stuff over there. You can watch SP3 on this channel every single week, not talking about wrestling, with myself and on FMC, usually talking about basketball. Do you want to? I'll give you a chance. Lakers won last night. I told you.
Without LeBron, without Anthony Davis, without D'Angelo Russell.
That's fine.
Lonnie Walker out in these streets trying to get a bigger contract. Come on. Let's go. I
told you on Twitter yesterday when a person tagged us and like Anthony Davis out. Like, oh, this is good news for the Thunder. I was like, no, I don't want this at all. I want the Lakers to win because I bet them to make the playoffs. So I need them to win. And I have no disillusions about them making the playoffs. After the 4-game losing streak, after the All-Star break, it was like, they're out of it. And then Shea's hurt. Shea's in COVID. This is the season they needed. They've had the season they needed. Now just boost your lottery odds by losing games. I was thrilled that they lost that game last night. They played Jalen Williams. He's playing well. Josh Giddey rebounded after a bad game the night before. It was I'm glad they lost. I'm good on it. That was great. Good job, Lakers. Good job. I was very happy that the Lakers actually won a game last night. I was scared. I was admittedly scared. Like, oh man, the Thunder might actually win. No, they know the goal. They know the game plan. SP3. They know the mission.
Pack it up. Let's pack it up.
They know the mission at this point.
Let's go. I'm just hoping that we could pull out the win. Hopefully Anthony Davis is back on Friday against the Timberwolves, because that's a huge game. If we can get that win, I think that would put us in position. Either we're just going to be just out of that 10th spot in the play-in, or we'll have the play-in spot depending on what happens with the Portland Trailblazers, who's between us and the Timberwolves. So it's looking good despite Anthony Davis, being out injured with hurt feelings after getting dunked on in the Memphis game. We are still in shape, ladies and gentlemen. And I kind of said with that Memphis game, I was like, hopefully we split the 2 games that we got with Memphis coming up, because we play them again this coming week. So looking good. We're going to make these bets on Revolution. The Lakers won. Had a great perfect match finale. I just finished the mold too. So man, it's all good stuff. All good stuff all around. Also, I want to thank everyone who support True Hill Heat on Twitch, since I brought that up, I think, on FMC. We just hit affiliate status on Twitch. So thank you for the support over there as well.
Guys, go support everything SP3 does over at True Heel Heat and Romeo. I guess Romeo's okay. I like Romeo. His Knicks are crushing it.
Right they are. Now. They are. But Knicks fans always want to talk trash when they play in well, and I'm just like, man, y'all just gonna take y'all L in April. Don't matter. Y'all still just y'all make the playoffs this year. Y'all gonna lose in the playoffs in the first round, and then next year y'all probably be trash again. So.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Keep it locked here on Fightful Over Books. We got content all week coming up for AEW Revolution, including our watch along on Sunday. And we will talk to y'all after a while. Bye, everybody.